So I got the only square collet I have for this machine, and unfortunately it's not the right size. Fortunately, however, I have plenty of material laying around, so I cut some 3/16 inch shims. The collet just happens to be 3/8 too big. So it worked okay. For a one-off, this is fine. If I was going to make more, I would certainly look for a more elegant solution. Sometimes we just got to make it work, right? So this center hole here has to be drilled all the way through. The drill bit I had was just over 6 inches of cutting depth, and the part itself is just over 10 inch, so I had to hit it from both sides. But even at that, the hole came out pretty straight. I was mildly impressed with that. So here's the knob itself, a piece of 2-inch solid aluminum bar. And normally when I make the shift knobs, I put the 3 different thread sizes in it so it'll fit any year of the air-cooled VWs. But since I know this one's going in my bus, I just did the 1 thread. And of course, tapping in the lathe is way easier than trying to do it by hand. It's also funner too, especially with that releasing tap holder. And one of my favorite things to use on the lathe is a forming cutter, so I can cut all those contours in one swoop. That'll do for starters. Mount the 3-jaw chuck into the mill vise. Copper spacers so I don't dig into the aluminum when I tighten that down. And I fly cut the top of that. I didn't catch it, but obviously it's done. And I decided to go with this just a standard VW logo. And here's that square bar. Just using the probe to center it up. And after hitting it with the fly cutter, I'm going to start doing the engraving. This engraving bit was far too small for this, but it was my go-to tool and I didn't even think about it. I should have used something with a much larger diameter. This just took way too long. Well, that'll do for the first side. Let's flip it over and repeat. Here you can see I got it on both sides here. I blew through my hole right on the very end, which is kind of a drag, but I'm not doing it over again. But other than that, looks pretty good. And although I love that forming tool on the lathe, it doesn't leave a nice finish. Gets you in a pretty good shape, but it's got to be sanded to make it look good. So I just ran through, I don't know, 3 or 4 different grits of paper to get it to look really good. That looks pretty good. I'll take that. Let's put it in. Even though I didn't catch it on video, you can see here I did put a couple set screws in the bottom of this just to hold it in place. That shift knob you saw me taking off, that was the first weighted shift knob I ever made. And first time I drove the van after putting it in, I wasn't sure if I liked it. You could really feel a difference in the shifting. I was unsure if it was a good difference or a bad difference, but it didn't take long to get used to it, and I actually like it, having the extra weight up there. When you shift a gear, you know you're shifting a gear. Well, that's it. As always, thanks for watching.